We're good. Sorry about that. It was time to start. I wanted to give it a little breathing room. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
There was a slight extra pause there because I was watching the live counter tick up on YouTube, and it went to like 10 seconds, and then it rolled back to like 8 seconds. So not sure whose wires got crossed there, but that was a little weird. But hi, hello, welcome back to Fail Portrayal.
The person who was in charge of your going live settings was King Crimson.
He has erased that time.
Welcome to Fail Portrayal, the place where we portray the failure in your design or your art.
Which
was
honestly, for this archetype, there's not a lot of that. There's not a lot of failure. This is arguably one of the most successful archetypes ever because I'm fairly certain that while Sky Striker has never had the oppressive competitive success since Toss format ended, they're always there. So long as Engag is legal, this deck exists somewhere. There is a guy who's like, but what if I did Sky Striker?
And maybe the slogan is "Welcome to Fail Portrayal," where we portray the failure in design or your art or lack thereof.
No, I think this is the failure in your originality.
Why are you coming up with the slogan?
I don't know, just came to mind. But thanks for saying I'm not original, I guess.
No, I mean that's the third tagline should be the originality because people are gonna play the decks for. Oh my God! Wait, hold on. I'm feeling the cold grip of Father Time. Wait, what year did Sky Striker come out?
Let me go check.
It was in Dark Savers. Dark Savers was released when this tab loads.
2008, I'm guessing, or even earlier.
No. 2018.
That was Margaret.
But yeah, no, it's 5 years old. Oh my God. No wonder people are so tired of Sky Striker.
Oh my God, Omega, I've known you for as long as Sky Striker existed.
Yeah, I know. It's wild.
That's funny. Sky Strikers were new when I fucking first met you.
Yeah, it's wacky. But this is honestly much like a lot of Eternal decks. Like, this is probably why people are genuinely tired of Sky Striker. Like, Sky Striker currently isn't even that good. It's just annoying.
Oh yeah, it is more than over 5 years. That was Cybernetic Horizons was April and July of 2018. Yeah.
Okay, so and guess what? Earlier this year, in a regional, Gabe Miranda took Sky Striker to a top 4 in a regional.
You know, I think I've noticed the issues. I think spell cards are just too good normal most of the time.
Honestly, yeah, no, I'm looking at this list. The list that made the top 4 it's literally 3 Ash, 3 Draw, 1 Gamma Seal main deck, 2 Ghost Ogre, 3 Ray, 1 Rose, 1 Hamp, and then it's just all the best spell cards.
You know,
and 3 Imperm.
You know, I think the issue is just that links are just better than most other extra deck monsters by most margins, and that most spell cards are better than most other traps and monster cards by most margins.
No, there's a lot of crap in both.
Okay, but I meant
literally, I'm looking
else.
at this list. The only spell cards they're playing that have that had come out anytime before Sky Striker itself came out that weren't like Sky Striker cards there was 1 copy of Terraforming when that was allowed, and 1 copy of Rhoda. Like, all the others are cards that have come out in the last 5 years. And actually, I think most of these are sooner than that. Like, Lightning Storm is like 2020, I think. They do have like a Cosmic Cyclone in the side, you know, but generally, most of it is just... The issue with Sky Striker is twofold. Let's describe the Sky Striker deck to anybody watching who doesn't know what Sky Striker does before we get into this list. So, Sky Striker is, I think, an interesting archetype. Under normal circumstances, I would probably quite like this. Sky Striker aesthetically is basically, hey, what if we combined Magical Girl anime with the setting of Ace Combat? Because everything is a reference to fighter planes. Also, they have by the way, according to the manga, their setting exists in a world where they have Kessler Syndrome, so, like, they were a bunch of satellites they blew up so nobody can go into space anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, so, yeah, no, it's just Ace Combat, except instead of fighter planes, it's girls in fighting robots that are named after fighter planes. But they are a deck that revolves around usually Link 1s or Link 2s, but having no monsters in your main monster zones so that you can cycle through your Link monsters only in the EMZ, and are generally also evolved around having spell cards in your graveyard. The unfortunate result of this is that the Sky Striker deck is built around the idea that you don't have a lot of main deck monsters. Like, you're just not using them, and you don't have a lot anyway. If we're not counting the manga characters, which were added much later, and also most of them are bad, we will talk about them in this episode because they all have the parenthetical that says they count as Sky Striker cards, but you don't usually run most of those. They're not great.
I did want to mention...
Yeah?
I also think it's heavily inspired by just a staple in some medias in Japan. It's like the lyrical striker Nanaha and all of its various seasons.
I mean, it could be, but Nanaha is not nearly as mecha-esque as this.
Oh, have you not seen all of her variant, like, literal, like, Gundam-style armor she wears?
No, I stopped watching after the third series because they were supposed to be done. And then I guess they made
I know,
more,
but it's more
like,
just, like, it's a thing. So it's like, I feel like it's the same kind of ethos.
I mean, that's why I said, like, it's a magical girl anime combined with Ace Combat, because, like I said, everything is a reference to a fighter plane. Everything. Even their name. Their name is a fucking wordplay. The name of the archetype in Japanese is Sento. Literally, the characters they use is Flash Sword, but the character Sen can also mean to brandish, as in to brandish a sword. The phrase Sento means battle, and Sky Striker Ace in Japanese is called Sentoki, using ki as in a word for princess. So Sky Striker Ace is Flash Sword Princess, but the word Sentoki means fighter plane. So, yeah.
The Sky Striker works.
Yeah, so, yes, Sky Striker and Sky Striker Ace works. It's not quite the same level of homophones, but yeah, it's...
Like Ace Pilot, yeah.
Yeah, Ace Pilot, there's a lot of Sky puns involved, but yeah, so... They have a strong theme, at least, aesthetically, naming-wise, but the predication of this deck is that most of your main deck is going to be spell cards. And this creates some very interesting things because some of those spell cards are very, very good. And unfortunately, many of these spell cards just say, just to have no monsters in your main monster zone. They don't say that, like, you also must control a Sky Striker monster or something. So, unfortunately, it means that they're very packageable in lots of other weird decks. They're very engine-based, and just in general, we'll talk about their core monster, the original Ace herself, Ray, in a second. But they are also, despite the fact that like 90% of their monsters live in the extra deck, they are one of those never-ending conga line of assholes decks. Like, Sky Striker, I would say, is not necessarily a super good deck right now. They have some ways to come over the top with some of their newer cards, but they're still not super great. But they're the kind of deck you run into, like, in every once in a while at an event, a regional, a locals, or on Master Duel or whatever, which has a different ban list. Like, you run into them, and if you're not playing very specific hate, it can be really hard to deal with them because they are a very tight resource loop.
Yes.
Part of the reason why I think they didn't dominate TOS format entirely, why TOS was divided up into usually 4 archetypes, that's Thunder Dragon, Orcus, Sky Striker, Spiral. Or is it Salamangreat? Was Spiral banned yet? Yeah, I think it was Spiral format then. You would play Spiral cards in the others, though. But the reason why it wasn't just Sky Striker format was because one of those guys, the Big T, Thunder Dragon, absolutely wrecks this deck because Colossus really screws up a lot of your shit. Anti-Spell Fragrance also really kills this deck in addition to killing like Pendulum decks. If you were running a Spellcaster deck, you could do the Secret Village Lockout. But yeah, Kaijus are also a really great way to beat him. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on here. But this is why we make the joke about Engage, sometimes called Engag. It's just Pot of Greed.
Yep.
Ugh. Sorry. Rolling my bones a little. All right.
I just feel like when we get to Engage, there's nothing I could even add to it. Just say.
I mean, you can already see the art. It's just she's there.
Yep.
All right, so we will begin, as usual, with the the monsters in the main deck. And as I pull up Ray, I will briefly explain what we know of the lore from the manga and the master guides. So basically, Sky Striker occurs in a setting where there are... Cup of Ace also just Pot of Greed. Hell, I know that some Sky Striker players play Cup of Ace because you don't really
God damn
care.
it.
You just need spell cards.
Casual.
Yeah. But basically, what we know of the lore is there are two nations. Our hero, Ray, is from Karma, who developed the Sky Striker technology. They are fighting against the Spectra Union, which are the bad guys. That said, we don't really see in the card game a lot of the Spectra Union. There are a couple of the, like, enemy rival pilots who are represented, but if they have, like... I presume if they're winning the war, they have, like, you know, generic mooks for Ray to beat up. Those guys don't have, like, cards or anything.
A bunch of, like, drone units or something like that.
Yeah, presumably they have some kind of military engine and haven't conquered everything but the last town. Yeah, we know the Hamp exists, but that's like one anti-weapon. I really hope that they're not soloing the entire world with just a couple of giant robots. But we'll pull up our original here. This is Sky Striker
how many anime
Ace
series
Ray.
have it where it's just the enemy empire has conquered the world, but then when they actually get opposed, it's like, how did you conquer the world, actually? A lot of things are like that, honestly, like Sentai or things like that.
I mean, true, but there's usually, like, even in Sentai, they usually have, like, foot soldiers, even if they suck, you know?
True, which means,
Yeah,
like,
the putties.
they suck against humans.
This is Ray,
people.
Sentoki Rei, Flash Sword Princess Rei in Japanese. Her name is pretty explicitly a reference to the model number for the Mitsubishi A6M Reisen, which was codenamed the Zero by the Allies, so she is a Zero fighter. By the way, chat, as usual with any Japanese media that involves themes of war, do not read too heavily into there being a giant military-industrial complex slowly closing in on a remote suburban village, possibly on an island somewhere. Well, yeah, but that's because every single angel is a fucking god. And they didn't even have to fight those most of the time. The reason why the world in Evangelion is fucked is just because one angel blew up.
Oh man, the crazy triangle is back.
Let's go snipe that tetrahedron.
So this, though, is this Doobie Ray. You can see her. She's got the titular Sky Striker sword. The sword is both a sword and also the key to unlock her mecha suits, because, of course, it is. I do actually like the aesthetics, though, for her. This is technically her uniform. She's got, like, the tie, you know. And technically, yeah, she's wearing, like, they're flats, but they're, like, business casual shoes, you know? Like, this looks vaguely uniform-like. She's got that
fancy uniform, but yeah.
Yeah, this logo right there on her breast pin is the logo for the country of Karma.
She's got like I guess the military academy kind of look, but like anime style.
Yeah. And she doesn't.
I cannot imagine how much you have to fork over just to get that.
Yeah. Let me see if I can grab the alt art as well. This is another thing you're gonna learn. Somebody at Konami fucking loves Sky Striker.
No.
Like, they, as I mentioned before, they have both a master guide summary of their story and are in the middle of, like, a spin-off manga. The spin-off manga has resulted in, like, promo cards of other characters in the manga who are technically part of the archetype, but are not really great. You know, stuff like that. So, they keep getting, like, support and mention, even though I suspect a reasonable number of people who play Yu-Gi-Oh! Are kind of tired of them. Like I said, they've been around for, like, 5 years. You've got your diehards, obviously. Same with, like, you know, people still be repping, like, Burning Abyss and stuff. All right, let me composite these shots together. So, I'm going to assume that this second alt art is, like, the manga artist drew it or something, because the lines are very different, you know? Like, the original art of Rei looks like normal Yu-Gi-Oh art. This second one has like very much more crisp lines.
Oh, yeah. So here's the 10-year later remake. Even though probably wasn't 10 years.
Like glow up. More form fitting, but like it looks like actual like clothes, I guess.
Yeah, it's got some ruffles
Yeah.
in it, some mobility.
I appreciate the look of the clothes.
Her tie is longer in the alt art and has some more give to it. It's
Like
it's fleshed up a little. Sadly, they hid
I
her.
don't want to say it as an insult, but she just looks much more anime-y.
Yeah, no, that is I think what I was getting at with like the crisper lines. Also, that Martha, that's true that the manga Kai is not very good with female characters. That's sad because that's like 90% of the characters in Sky Striker.
Yeah, because there's only like an old man, and the rest are like female cast.
Yeah, I don't know if. Well, I think Aileron might. Well, actually, no.
We don't know.
Joke.
We can't tell
All
if it's
of
tiny
all
boy,
of them are
if it's boy
AI,
or
so
girl.
that's why they're all machine type. So I don't actually know if Aileron is supposed to be male or female.
It could be the Japanese.
Their gender is
being
small.
generic.
Technically,
Yeah.
they're all robots, so they don't have gender unless they were based on uploaded human brains.
Or they're cyborgs.
No, they're
let's
literally
get-
AI characters. They're in the computer.
Let's
Oh,
get
okay.
all new up in this.
All right, so Sky Striker Rei. Interestingly enough, by the way, Sky Striker Rei is a Dark Warrior, which is very meta relevant, but interesting for what exactly is going on here.
It is light. Huh.
No, Rei is dark. She's a Dark Warrior, level 4, 15/15. This is pretty interesting and is one of Sky Striker's biggest crutches. Usually these girls are very small. This is a level 4, like I said, with 15/15. That's not super great. So she has a quick effect. You can tribute this card, special summon a Sky Striker Ace from your extra deck to the extra monster zone. While this card is in your graveyard, if a face-up Sky Striker Ace Link monster you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, you can special this card. You can only use each effect once per turn. Unfortunately, I think the one reason why this deck is really good and why you never see it go away, I really wish Rei said you can only use one of those effects per turn. But no, it's just you can only use each effect once per turn. So she has a quick effect to instantly go into any of your Link boards, except the ones that say must be Link summoned. Like I believe Zeke has to be Link summoned, so you can't go into the Link 2. But any of your Link 1s work as a quick effect.
Yep.
So you can just bounce on your opponent's turn. And if they are destroyed by battle or leave the field in any way, if they are banished without going to the graveyard, if they are returned to hand, aka extra deck, or spun back to deck, whatever effect would remove them from the field, Rei gets to summon herself back out. And then immediately, unless you've already tagged out, immediately tag out back into your Sky Striker, which is part of the endless conga line of assholes. Basically, the only thing you can do is either negate Rei's effect activation or because she is special summoned from the graveyard. Her effect is while this card is in the graveyard, you have to DD Crow or otherwise sniper out of the graveyard. This is, by the way, why Sky Striker has not been really breakout good in a while. It's because a lot of people are playing Bestials. As we've just established, Rei herself is a dark, which means Bestials literally eat her. This small girl cannot defeat weird dragons from another dimension. But yeah, that's Rei. That's she's the protagonist. She has a sword. She be doing stuff. So let's move into our other, main deck monster. And, our other major character. It's time for the rival. Sky Striker Ace Rose. So you can see, and this is, if you look up close, it's easy to tell Rose is from a different faction because her uniform style is different and she's got different logos. I assume this is the logo of the Spectra Union. I like that she's got her own, Sky Striker key sword, but it's, slightly different. It looks more like an officer's saber. It's still got some katana elements, but it's much more, like I said, more saber-esque.
She's like a Tessarossa, I guess.
Yeah. Right down to, the classic magical girl rival thing, where, based on the card art we see later, absolutely either Rei decides to just save her for the fuck of it, or, like, her own faction betrays her or something and blows her up, and she needs saving.
Yep.
So, many, many classic tropiness to this. She is also basically kind of like she's literally the other side's op version of Rei. Her name, Rose, is basically just an anagram of 0. So, she is just the other counterpart. And I think basically she was printed just because somebody and I do agree with this fundamentally. Somebody at Konami realized, hey, wait, we need like more than one literal main deck monster for this archetype. If only because I want to say this. I don't mind when decks play on like completely different access like Sky Striker. My major complaint is that if that allows you to basically stack your deck with non-engine, it's why like I've always found that like Sekka's light decks, cool in concept, fucking suck in practice, because it just means that instead of playing like a normal spread of spell and trap cards, you just play like 9 more hand traps.
Yep.
Loth, you were saying something, I think?
No, I'm just picturing like if Sky Strikers had the one main deck monster, just someone's first turn Prohibition.
I mean, yeah, that
I know
might
what you're playing,
actually-
but just in case.
that might actually like work and go in game 2, because you can't activate so long as you're going first and activate it. She can't, activate her effect.
But who knows about the whole Sky Strikers? Because don't they have like a one spell card to just say fuck back row?
Oh yeah, they have several. They have several tricks. So, also, by the way, I want to point this out actually. Until seeing her up close like this, I didn't realize that her giant scarf was a scarf. I always thought that Rose had like a giant axe. It's not true. It's her scarf.
Really?
They're very pointy. Yeah. I'm used to seeing this card, far away. And also, like, usually in high rarities. But yeah, no, she's got a sword. That's good. Makes sense also with the archetype. So, Rose is a light warrior level 4. Hence why you play Rhoda in this deck, by the way. She is also 15/15. If a Sky Striker Ace monster is normal or special summoned except Rose, and except during the damage step, you can special summon this from your hand. If an opponent's monster in the EMZ is destroyed by battle or leaves because of your card effect while this card's in the graveyard, special summon it, and then negate the effects of a face-up monster your opponent controls at the end of this turn. Because each effect of Rose once per turn. So, Rose is not usually as popular as Rei in terms of the actual deck design. You may have noted when I talked about that top 4 that was just this year, they were only running 1 Rose.
Yes.
Her effects are a lot more situational. Generally, you would not want to extend into summoning her after you get a Sky Striker Ace out. Like, obviously, that's how you make the link to Zeke. But usually you don't want to, like, depending on the circumstance, you wouldn't want to summon her right away and turn off your cards, So you want to be careful about that.
She is a card that says, you don't need me, but when you need me, you really need me.
Yeah. The main thing you run her for is that she gives you, like, a 4th or higher, if you want to run extra copies, number of names, because your Link monsters require Sky Strikers to make them. So, like, hypothetically, if you didn't have access to Rose, like, all your opponent has to do to, like, lock you out of the game is just, like, somehow figure out a way to, like, banish all 3 of your Rays or put them back in the deck. And then you're basically eventually going to dead-end yourself with Link summoning. Okay, hold on.
Omega has been taken away. He talked about Engage too much. The evil country has come to take his take over Studio Omega. I don't know.
Hmm.
Ugh. Okay, we're back.
You know,
Oh,
Axe, if
boy.
my joke sucks, you can also just put me down. That's fine.
Wait, what?
Okay, so you weren't even listening.
He's not even
No,
paying
I heard it,
attention
but I
now.
didn't have anything to say in response. 'Cause-
Okay.
I wasn't here. I had to take my headphones off to crawl down and find my bottle cap. Because you
It
should
was
always
a-
cap your water bottles.
There was a dumb joke about you talked about Engage too much and you being taken away by the secret government.
Yu-Gi-Oh! No one can. I mean, overreal. I don't think they can have a Yu-Gi-Oh! Shadow government. But they have to actually read the policies.
It's meant to be about the enemy faction in this archetype we're going over, but okay.
Hi, this is Skystriker Ace Token.
Yeah. Thank you.
Is it an official
Fucking, like,
Skystriker
merch.
token art? It's a token. It's
Fuck.
just,
It's a fucking merge projection.
well, yeah, it's a mirage. It's a hologram. Because that's what the
Oh,
drones
God.
summon. The drones make the
I
token.
never watched it, but give him Mad Macross Frontier Files, or whatever the fuck that was called.
That might be
Hold on.
the correct Macross. I don't know.
Yeah, Macross. What?
I'm not a
Both
Macross
giant robots
expert
and
because it's
idols.
There's
very.
a bunch of Macrosses.
I am not an expert because you're out there. That's right. This
It
card
just makes
did
me
come-
feel like, yeah.
So now we're going to talk about their extra deck, the Ace monsters, because those are all actual Sky Strikers. For some ungodly reason, Konami has decided to put us in the nonsense zone by making all of their new manga Sky Striker Aces have alphabetical names that are early. So here's Azalea.
Oh, fuck.
So this is Sky Striker Ace
What the-
Azalea. She's pretty new.
He's the actual, like, arc villain.
Yeah, so Azalea is one of the characters in the manga. Also, I mean, I don't know if this trivia fact is substantiated. So, like, I don't know if it's true or not, but I guess I should say spoilers if you're going to read the Sky Striker manga. The trivia page says that her name being Azalea is a reference to how the azalea flower propagates via cutting. Like, if you separate one of the branches, it grows into its own thing. And it says, this is thematically appropriate because she's a clone of Rose. And I'm like, I mean, if she's a clone of Rose, she's a shitty clone. She doesn't look anything like Rose.
Yep. Also, sorry, I just realized something. Because Persona 3 is going to be getting its reboot, or whatever, coming out. Looking at her hips, I can only think of, like, the Aegis hips.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks like she's mostly a robot. Except for the brain, maybe.
Well, yeah, she is wearing a mecha suit, so, because she is the ace. This is combat mode.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, she's got, you know, dark skin and purple hair. That's whatever. The fact that it's a drill is probably like a cute reference. Her sword holding posture is pretty bad. It's a pretty limp wrist grip.
Just pulling a Star Killer.
No, it's not a reverse grip. She's got thumb on top. It's a forward grip, and that's why it's a bad grip. I presume they drew it this way because I suspect the artist can only draw swords when you're looking at 100% of the facing. You're looking at them sideways. But yeah, the perspective in this is a little fucked.
Oh, yeah. Just like how when people are starting to draw, they can only draw people facing left or right.
Yeah.
I've been there.
And in general, this isn't necessarily a bad look, but I'm not super happy with some of the aesthetic choices on Azalea. Like her,
It's a very bad,
her little, like,
sword posture.
her sword holding perspective is fucked. It's not good. Look, she's got little weird outside like ankle guard bubbles.
I think they're like something with like boosters or something.
They probably are, but they're just like rounded, and I'm just like, that's weird. That's a weird place to put
I
a
like
little
Futuristic
bubble.
Heelys.
I kind of like that she's got like the white and purple thing where it's like besides the tan skin, golden eyes. Okay, also,
Yeah, I like that she's got kind of a.
she's got the ultra look, but it's like purple that like fades into white because I guess she's like only got years to live or some shit.
Some weird cloning blues stuff.
Is that-
But yeah,
True 50 casual? She's the clone that hates being a clone?
I mean probably.
God damn it.
I mean, if you were cloned
yeah.
from Rose, wouldn't you be upset too?
Especially when you were cloned just to be a replacement.
Well, we're asking my opinion.
I don't know what
and my
I don't know what that
opinion is
says
usually-
about Japanese society, but there is an anime clone like character arc boilerplate that like 90% of clones stick to, and I'm curious why. Is it just a reference to whoever did it first, or are we saying something deeper about how the Japanese people are deeply concerned with being seen as replaceable machine parts?
I think it's due to that because there's also like a lot of like their very good stories are also about how the next generation should always take over because the old generation just wants what they were promised and never got.
So, Omega, I'll just say this: don't ask me how I feel if I was a clone of Rose. I'm gonna have a very lucky perspective on it. So
Fair
don't.
enough. So,
I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, let's go."
Fun fact though, as befitting the fact that she is supposed to be a more major character, Azalea for the manga like specials is actually good. It's weird, I know. She's their second link. I think she was because the other one's not even in Master Duel, so that one must have come later. She's like their second Link 2, and is very solid. So Azalea is a Dark Machine Link. Most of the Sky Striker, when they're in combat mode, they're machines. You know, because they're in their suits. She has left up and right back arrows. She's only 1500 attack despite being a Link 2, but her materials are completely generic to light and or dark monsters. So you can do 2 lights, a light and a dark, or 2 darks. Must be Link summoned. So yeah, this card is immune to the Ray fetch effect. You can only special summon Azalea once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can target a card on the field, destroy it. If you have less than 3 spells in your graveyard, send this card to the graveyard. At the end, at once per turn at the start of the damage step, when this card bans an opponent's monster, banish a spell card from your graveyard, destroy that opponent monster. So yeah, Azalea, really fucking good. Like,
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
even in non-Sky Striker decks, this is, like, if you're playing Chaos, basically, this is a generic Link 2 that gets you a pop, and at worst, sends itself to the graveyard where you can then banish it for extension. Plus, also, some Chaos decks do actually play some spell cards. If you're playing this in Sky Striker, this is a great removal tool. This is 2 pops, presumably.
Oh.
And also, like I said, remember, Sky Striker as a deck has a problem getting over big guys. So long as that big guy isn't destruction immune, this card now has that effect to pop when you engage in combat, which is pretty good. So yeah, you will probably see Azalea tucked in a few lists here and there. As evidenced by the fact that... sorry, go ahead.
I'm not sure if he's here right now, but god damn it, Robert, I see the fucking super emote over reply you gave to Omega's thing here in the failed Portrayal chat. I see that. And I can't handle it, because it's flying.
Yeah,
Ugh.
super reactions are... I guess Discord did them to try and get more money, but it would be more successful if Discord would allow me to pay money to make them not do that.
That's an apology for interrupting you, Omega.
No, it's fine. Yeah, what I was going to say was that, you know... Sorry, I'm double-checking chat. Yeah. But, like, Azalea is good. You're going to see her. You can tell she's good because it's, like, she was literally printed a couple months ago, like 3 months now at this point. So she's only got the one printing at Secret Rare, though I think because it was a Battle of Legend, it was an all-foil set. But her median price on TCG Player is still $18, so, yeah.
Oh!
So, yeah, no. People recognize that Azalea will be useful in decks as just... Basically, she's like a Nightmare Cerb, but 1, works on cards that are not special summoned. That is a very funny thing about Cerberus. It only pops special summoned monsters. And 2, doesn't require you to have cards in hand. The cost is if you don't have 3 spell cards in grave, Azalea dies.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, very funny. So, this card... Yeah, this card...
Sorry, also,
Let me see if I
before
can
we
find
leave,
it. Yeah, go ahead.
can
I
I
gotta
make
search
one
for this
joke
cards. Go ahead.
or reference? So, considering the materials required for this card, it's usually possibly either 1 Ray, 1 Rose, or 2 of either.
Yeah.
To steal a joke from Lythero's video, is just you're both gonna combine and make mid. How?
All right, I did find a card art for our next one. So as I said before, because they print them this way, our two manga character like aces are earlier in the list than all the others because they have names that are higher in the alphabet. This is Sky Striker Ace Camellia. Yes, the
Also,
manga
like
also decided to completely fuck the naming scheme by naming all their characters after plants.
God damn it. I'd like to apologize to Omega and chat, and also Axe. Sorry, I should have included you. I have not slept, so if I seem out of it, that's why.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a little extra. You see what you got, like, never mind.
He's
I-
a little,
I
he's a
can't
little
word it.
gassed.
I can't word it.
The gamers have gassed him up.
I said to myself while I was hopping in bed, I'll just read one chapter of this manga.
Read the whole
And then the sun started rising.
if only I could do that without just not being garbage at work.
Well, yeah, you
I'm
gotta work.
unemployed! I wish
So,
I had more.
this is Camellia. She's named after a, camellia flower. So,
Drill hair.
yeah. You're
I mean,
gonna
so did Azalea.
read this when you talk about her card effect. Camellia is interesting because she turned out to be like a double agent. She pretended to defect to Karma like Rose, but then de-defected and stabbed some of the AI people we will meet later. So she's like a double trickster. I like her drill hair, and I kind of like the green and silver thing they got going on. Her, I mean, she's still also a little limp-wristing, but her sword posture is better.
Is this sword bigger?
Yes, I
think
do
so.
believe it's supposed to be bigger.
Honestly, they should have done the thing where she's stuck in the ground.
It's in the digital ground.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're all like basically just in a training room, like why not? For,
but
like,
yeah,
the
no,
pose.
it's interesting. She's charging her laser a little bit.
It
She's
feels more like a
kind of
threat
like
than
blank red
Azalea.
eyes look.
I just want to also put on to what Omega said before. I really actually do appreciate the silver and green hair color
No, it's a good.
because
a
it's
good
colors that work well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Sky Striker Ace Camellia is also a Dark Machine Link too. She has basically the opposite arrows to Azalea, so she's got the bottom left and top right. Her materials, as Marth listed out earlier, are just any two effect monsters, so she is also completely generic. Must first be Link summoned, so you can summon her from the graveyard later, but not initially. You can only special summon Camellia once per turn. Once per turn, if you have 3 or less spell cards in your graveyard, you can send a Sky Striker card from your deck to the graveyard. If this card is sent to the graveyard, target a monster your opponent controls, special summon this card to their field, and if you do, send that monster to the graveyard. Also, shift control of this card's owner during the end phase of this turn. So yeah, that's Camellia's double agent power. So this card's not out in the TCG. It's a promo so far in the OCG. Like I said, it was for the mangas back in June. In Sky Striker decks, I think Camellia will actually be good. She's completely generic to just 2 effect monsters. And she has a Foolish Burial effect if you have 3 or less spells. So if you're going turn 1, and if you've got like a Ray and a Rose, you can make a Camellia and just go, right? Like, just bin some cards, set up your graveyard.
You could also do some fuckery because there is that Sky Striker Widow Anchor that just says just take an opponent's monster, just take
Yeah.
it back.
You can take her back and lots of other stuff. Also, her effect on her send effect to send an opponent monster to the graveyard is just when she is sent to the graveyard. Hey, what does link material count as? Sending to graveyard. So if you link away Camellia to make another Sky Striker link, which is a thing you can do, you immediately get to proc her effect to just... it is targeting, but it's still... non-destruction. It's just send to graveyard, and then you get your Camellia back anyway during the end phase, so you only have to worry about running over her once. So, yeah, this card will actually be good in Sky Striker. I do not think it will be good in any non-Sky Striker decks. Like, technically her second effect is generic, but you have to, like, link her away. I guess you could use it when making, like, an access code talker to, like, help clear your opponent's board easier.
Or you're gonna use her to go into the other Link 2s. if you can. I don't know.
Yeah,
if you can.
there's some stuff there, but it's a little more situational outside. But this card will actually be good in Sky Striker, and not super great anywhere else. So we'll see when they import her.
Yeah, Azalea, good for Sky Striker and generic. This one, just good for Sky Striker.
Yeah, and also honestly, both of them are not like yes, Azalea, like I said, is like 2 pops. That's pretty normal though. It's just a fancier way of doing, like I said, like a Nightmare Serb or other
They already
Link 2
have
combo.
They already have fucking Zeke, which I believe banishes.
Yeah, Zeke does some funny stuff. That one we'll be talking about last because Z is at the end. But now we get to talk about the ones everybody knows. So we're gonna start with.
I guess I did want to say one last thing.
Sure, go ahead before I switch the
I've
arts.
noticed the thing of the first arc, I guess, is Ray, and I guess it literally just makes you think of actual Nanaha. I know it's stupid.
I mean, I would not be shocked if it is not inspired
It's
by
in the
that.
first one because basically the first season she basically wins over Fate through her thing, and then in the movies basically then all of her friends basically meet negative clones of themselves, and then make friends of them at the end.
We will see
Now,
if friendship persists because.
Or if they die.
With this thought and this series, even though they're actually going through the manga.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I think Axe is correct in that it's similar to, like, definitely I think the Ray-Rose relationship is very reminiscent of Fate and Nanoha. Like, they're rivals, and they get in fights, and then they just stop fighting. Anyway, this is our first course suit. This is Sky Striker Ace Hayate. So the Sky Striker, the Karma-made Sky Striker Ace models anyway, are usually have names which are relative to their attributes. Hayate is wind, therefore Hayate is Japanese for gale. It's also the name for a type of fighter from World War II, the Nakajima Ki-84 Hayate. So, which was a long-range interceptor. And funnily enough, I'm pretty sure in the Master Guide, yes, Hayate is described as the long-range interception model. So, it's got, a giant long-range gun, got some kind of railgun sniper, she's got a scouter on her head, got some weird radar shit on her back. So, yeah, Hayate is the long-range mode.
She got like a weird VTOL kind of thing attached to her hips, like on both sides. She's got Jehudi legs.
Yes, definitely got Jehudi legs. Also, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I hope that those little VTOL things you're talking about are actually gun anchors, like you're firing the vector cannon.
The vector cannon.
Because, that's just sick. But yeah, so this is Hayate. It's green. It's windy. The backpack thing she's got on is a little over-designed. Definitely the kind of thing you'd only see in anime. Or actually, honestly, in manga. If this was an anime first, somebody in the animation team would go like, motherfucker, we are not drawing all that shit for 24 frames a second.
I am just looking at this and thinking that bit to the left, next to a scouter, just looks like a fucking camera.
Yeah. And
it's
it
gonna
might
take
be.
a picture.
Smile camera, baby. So, Hayate is actually, one of their second wave of support. This wasn't their initial one. The first two were, I believe, Kagari and Shizuku, which was probably quite the best ones. But Hayate is also very commonly part of the combo as well. So, Sky Striker Ace Hayate is a Wind Link 1. It's got a bottom left arrow. It's got 1500 attack. Most of their Link 1s do, because they're all based around the stat line for Ray. Its materials are exactly one non-wind Sky Striker Ace monster, so any Sky Striker Ace can become Hayate, so long as they are not Hayate.
Yep.
You can only special summon Hayate once per turn. Hayate can attack directly. After damage calc of this card battled, send any Sky Striker card from your deck to your graveyard. Continue on.
Yeah, deck to the graveyard. So just be basically just like, hey, look at Engage, or whichever field spell, or something.
Hayate is very common if you're going second in Sky Striker. You basically make Hayate attack over, send some cards, and then you're like, all right, now I've got some spells in my graveyard, so I can pop off.
Yes.
So
Also, I just realized the way Hayate looks. I posted a GIF in a failed portrayal. Reminds me of the monster called Acilos from Monster Hunter. Just lightning green dragon, fly dragon, wyvern. Just
Yeah,
it's
fair enough.
the fucking fork shooter thing she has reminds me of its tail.
Yeah, fair enough. And she is wind type, so probably got some of that action. All right. Well, it's time to
I
talk
think
about
that's my favorite monster.
everybody's favorite one.
Mega, can I get the crucifix now?
You can pray to God, but I can guarantee he's not listening.
Oh no, it's to put myself up there. I don't want to deal with this.
So this is Sky Striker
Some
Ace
people
Kagari. Kagari Blaze. It's the fire one. Kagari is also so popular she has a fucking alt art. So hold please while I grab that one.
I hate that she has fucking heels. This is also her first suit. Is it one? No.
I know you said first suit. I heard first suit, and I just can't stop giggling at that.
Better angle.
Okay, why does the old art look like it's in awakened mode?
I mean it might be. I
From
do
the
like it
crown.
because she's got the red eyes. Her body proportions are a little better. Like, notice what she's doing with like
showing
her
they
arms
open
and
up,
hands
actually.
in the first art. It's very weird.
I'm
Yeah,
getting the
and
idea
also-
that.
Good.
Go off.
If you look at her front leg, it's coming out in an angle, but if you try to connect it with the rest of her body, it feels like it doesn't add up.
Yeah. I feel like the original art was like the artist did some concept art sketches and then was like, wait, shit, I can't fit all this into a card art.
I like the thing that
Axe?
shows.
Mhm.
I like the thing that like now the lines mean that they open up a little bit. I guess except for the swords, but I guess if it open up, it just like each spell in the grave means each thing that's opened or something.
Yeah. I mean, I would prefer if they were free floating, if they were just fin funnels.
No,
But-
clearly these need to be the things that latch to the ground for the vector cannon.
But yeah, that she's got these like flaming sword wings is pretty cool. So this is technically not her
What's-
first
what's
suit.
the- What's the non-new type funnels? Like the ones that are actually based off cables?
Oh, I don't remember. They have a lot of names for stuff.
Options?
Well, options from Gradius, which these are not also
Okay.
quite like that. That's weapon in Zone of the Enders is called Wisp, but they're also
Where's
sort of-
the fucking mecha boys when you need them?
So this is I like, by the way, this is numbered. This is X. This is the third suit. But this is the special operations mode. So they could be afterburners. So you can see it's kind of like samurai inspired, but very heavy on the flame and stuff.
I just like how actually bulky the alt art looks compared
Yeah.
to the first one. It's like a human is wearing it and not one of the things people use to pose or to help pose.
Yeah. So, also,
the-
by
what
the
is it?
way, I want to say, again, talking about how you might think this archetype is cute, but also, like, again, I'm not telling you to, like, watch out. I'm not going to, like, presuppose anything on the people writing this archetype. But I would like to remind you, this is called the Special Operations Suit. Since we're talking about World War II, Special Attack Operation units were the kamikaze units. So, I don't know if this is supposed to be the suicide bomb unit.
No, heavily it's more just divine wind.
But this is fire. No, it's not.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some stuff. I do like this
appreciate
design,
that the
though.
tassel looks thinner in the bulky version as well.
Also, I'm gonna be honest. This
Think
is
it's about right.
this is like 80% of the way to my current Tombstone Gear Samurai look. Like I'm level 70 Sam, so I've got the Skaven gear, so it's all red. Like, this is pretty close. I would rock this as a samurai.
Actually, Omega, you know it. It's what I'm referring to, like the part in the middle of the waist
Yeah.
armor tassel. Okay, good.
Yeah, the tassel or the tassets. I think it can be
Okay,
either or
thank you.
depending. Yeah, it's good. I also, once again, the alt art, like you said, it's drawn longer and more flexible. The first art, it's a lot higher up, but in general, in the original art, Rey looks a lot more squished into her suit.
Yeah.
She's scrunched in there. Everybody in chat probably knows what Kagari does, but to recap, Kagari is the fire one. She is also a machine. So she has a top left arrow only. The Sky Striker aces that have those arrows, like Kagari and Shizuku, are the first Link monsters ever that basically only point to like your opponent's field and stuff. So it's very weird, yeah. It's 1500 attack, obviously. Just any non-fire Sky Striker ace monster. If this card is special summoned, target a Sky Striker spell in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Gains 100 attack for each spell in your graveyard. You can only special summon Kagari once per turn. That hard once per turn on her being summoned was not enough to save her. For the longest time, I think until literally this year, or maybe late last year when they started this marketing push for the Sky Striker anime, what the OCG and Master Duel did was rather than limit Engage, they just hard limited Kagari to 1. So,
Yep.
She has since now fully unlimited in all, 3 major formats, but like for a long time this card was still so good even though you can only summon her once per turn to just get any spell card in your graveyard, because none of your spell cards are usually hard once per turns. Also,
having her and Engage at 3, it's just gonna give people nightmares, really.
Yeah, it's a rough one. And also, Kagari is actually your primary way of beating up guys, because you might think 100 attack for each spell card's not a lot, but remember, this deck has normally exactly 2 main deck monsters, so hypothetically that means that, your next 30 cards are spells. Not usually literally that many, but you play a lot of fucking spells, so it adds up. Kagari can be a real grinder when you're wrapping things up.
It is funny when you're fighting Sky Strikers and you summon a monster from your extra deck to a zone that her or was it Shizuku, whichever one points towards your
her
field.
and Shizuku both point forward.
Because you can technically be like, I put 2 monsters there.
Okay.
What are my extra EMD and EMZ in there?
Yeah. All right, so we'll move on to our next one.
Sorry.
This is Sky Striker Ace Kaina. Kaina in this context means arm, because she's got mechanical arms.
You know what? Sorry, I know you shouldn't do this, but I'm just literally seeing all these ones and how they're different attributes. Just this Sky Striker, and then whatever the Fortune Lady is next to her, I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, this is the, shocking nobody, this is the close combat model. As you can see from her, she's got an extra grappling hook arm. I think technically she's got 3 crushing arms, because there's like 1 down here. Actually, no, that's got like blades. So there's like hands. So there's like what I love about this, it doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense for the series she's from, but I like that this like Sky Striker suit looks like they built it out of old construction equipment.
Yes.
Which I always love when mecha shows acknowledge that civilian industry exists, and like, yeah, no, we built this out of a fucking, cargo lifter.
That reminds me of my favorite dumbest part about, the latest Earth Defense Force game. What's that? You're playing as a fencer, you're starting off as a construction worker. In an exosuit.
Chat type something funny in chat, but yeah, so this is Kaina. Kaina's pretty good. I know what they're for, because they're like geeky, crushy feet. Launcher's looking in chat, yep. But they make sense. I don't like them a lot, though. But I get why they're like that. At least they're not Odd Eyes feet.
Oh, yeah, please. Can we... As much as I love Odd Eyes, let's not talk about Odd Eyes feet. It's awful.
Yeah, so... Kaina is the Earth one. She's an Earth machine. She has a bottom right arrow, 15, just 1 non-Earth Sky Striker. If this card is special summoned, You can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. It can't attack until your opponent's next turn. Each time you activate a Sky Striker spell card or effect, gain 100 LP immediately after the effect resolves. You can only summon Kaina once. Kaina has always been kind of the black sheep of the Sky Striker aces. She's still a decent card, and she's a good addition to the deck, especially because it gives you a new attribute to play with. But also, very situational, right? Like, Kaina is a card for when you get in knockdown, drag-out fights, when you're like, okay, all right, my opponent's got a big guy, lock him out, you can't attack, got it, and you're trying to, like, regain LP so you can grind out on, like, time or something. So she has uses, but has never been as popular as the others.
I've mostly seen her be used to avoid taking lethal damage in some instances, or what could be lethal damage if you've got a board set up. Or to ensure they've got more pops for access code fuckface.
Yeah, recycle 3 more attributes.
And no, I would never not be salty at that card.
I mean, that's what access code does. Alright, so we're going to pull up our next one, and I'm going to space this because, like Kagari, Shizuku was one of the first 2 that came out, and you can tell this suit is listed before. It's 02.
Oh, look at
but
that.
this also has an alt art, so...
It's got a big fuck-off hand.
Yes, so officially, the Shizuku type suit is a base defense suit. So it is a defender. Ooh, wow. Okay, this is another case where I think the unlike Kagari, I think that the base art of Shizuku has a reason to exist. But boy howdy, the alt art's really dynamic. Like,
yeah,
you can see Rei clutching Rose inside her shields, turtling in here. Like,
she has turned the entire armor set into a shield.
Yeah, because it's still got those those series of shields, but they're like out behind her in the original art. So she's just flipped them all around and is just everything on defense. Superbolide.
Oh, no. Oh,
Yeah, by the way, Loth, I should tell you, it didn't work today, but I was doing dailies, and we got Aether Chemical, whichever one fucking Asian Prime is in. That fight still sucks, by the way. Hard as balls.
It does.
We got our ass kicked first try because it took a while for the DPS and the healer to get how the flares work. But I actually Superbolided. We got him down to like 20%, and I was just, the healer died, the other DPS died, and I'm just like, well, it's just you and me, buddy. It didn't work forever, but I tried. Boy, did I try.
You tried to summon your persona by shooting yourself.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know how long it would have gone, but I think I fucked up because there was a stack marker on the last DPS, and I walked into the stack and we both died. I probably should have just let him get fucked and see if I could have, like, grinded out the last, like, 15% of the boss. Probably not, but anyway.
Probably not. Not as a Gunbreaker at 60. No.
Yeah, no.
Not even as a warrior
I
at
do,
60.
get a tiny baby shield and a cure mid-rotation, but it's very small. But yeah, I like Shizuku's art a lot. The big fist is a little, like, it's a little too big for my exact liking, but it's still pretty cool.
It's a little jarring.
And I do like that her other arm is just knife gun. But yeah, it's
Looks
pretty good.
The kind of harpoon that you could shoot out with a rope on it.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
like
a
the hard-
Jehuti style arm blade.
It's like the hard defense suit.
Yeah, it's the
one-
base defender. So
We all got different utility forms. Like one for, like, I guess, heavy force, one for all attack, one for, I guess, a long range.
yeah, no, like literally they have the combat roles. Shizuku is base defense, Kagari is special operations, Hayate is long range interception, Kaina is close quarters. By the way, I think it's very important that we start at X2, and Kaina is X5. Whatever the
missing.
X1 suit is never been depicted.
Maybe it's a
If you
prototype.
Yeah, I was about to say prototype, or it's
Yes.
too dangerous to be used for human consumption.
And Zeke's number is Z000, so 3 zeros.
That's a zero suit. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's
Zero
called
Suit
also
Summits?
well, actually, you probably don't know that because you're not as big into old military nerd stuff. Zeke is the Allied reporting name for a Mitsubishi Zero. So yes, it's also literally a Zero suit.
Also, I do appreciate that with the big ass glove, she's got the little hand, whatever the little shield things are meant to rest.
Yeah.
It's a
I
really
like
nice
the
look.
idea that you can like quickly quick suit up all the suits because they're basically all like made of like I guess nano weave suit.
Yeah, they're all like
magnets.
nano machines or magnetic or something, and I mean, and it
This-
reflects in her effect, right? Because she can. It's a quick effect for her to transition. So
Yeah.
Just think of it like a Zero whenever it put on a new armor set.
but yeah, so
Anyone here remembers Zoids?
Shizuku has the top right arrow. She is a water machine. 1500 again, obviously. One non-water Skyscraper Ace. Monsters your opponent controls lose 100 attack and defense for each spell in your graveyard. Once per turn, during the end phase, if this card was special summoned this turn, add a Skyscraper spell from your deck to your hand with a name different than the cards in your graveyard. You can only special summon Shizuku once per turn. Shizuku is your other constant one.
Yes.
Because you just like very commonly Skyscraper players will do whatever their combo is and then just end on Shizuku because you get to search. She's not as I think robust as Kagari, but the fact that she does do attack and defense down also works. God forbid you
Yes.
ever actually get both of them on the board. I know it's harder to do that, but if you do that, oh, that's mean.
I was about to say, Omega, I had fought a grueling match against the Skyscraper person. They had both Shizuku and Kagari on board. It was painful.
Yeah, no, it's obviously that's going to turn off some of their spell cards, but if they've got enough of them in graveyard already and you're just in the grind set, like that's just a lot of stuff going down. All right, okay, so
Honestly, is it
Yep.
the idea that using all the spells are meant to represent her doing more moves in the fight before her big combo where she then cranks
well,
up the
so
gravity super hard, or for like
we'll
Kagari,
talk
where
about
it's
that
like
when we
she
get
just
to the spells, which will be
pumps
soon.
the
But
engine full?
they're all called Skyscrapers, but they have distinct names. There's like a lot of people don't think about this, but technically there is a difference between Skyscraper Maneuver and Skyscraper Mecha. So your spell cards are both like different maneuvers and techniques, and also different tools that the Skyscrapers
Gadgets.
are equipped with. Yeah. So there are a couple of different explanations for what the spells are doing. All right,
The
and
Winter
then
Anchor being one of my least favorites.
here is Skyscraper Ace Zeke. So you'll see that Zeke is a little bit of a different design. For one, it's bigger because in that chest cockpit there, that's Rose. So Zeke is Rose's suit, and is much bigger and more mecha-like. We're not quite to proper like Gundam coverage, but you know, still like this is an actual fucking giant robot.
This
Oh.
gives me the feeling of the two leaders of whatever factions they are being Aaron and Dan just went, "Hey, Big Zam."
Oh yeah, hey, Big Sam. I mean, it would probably
I
look
was-
a little bit like that.
I was thinking of the thing of like, it's got the writer thing of I think all of the tech has been made by reverse engineering the enemy tech.
Yeah, I don't actually. I'll double
Because
check.
it feels like
the
it comes from that or the same
entry.
place. Because if anything,
I mean,
the
Z is
Zeke
after
suit
X.
feels like it comes from like a way more advanced point to the technology tree.
Well, it is also just bigger. Let me grab the master guide again and double check. Da-da-da. Skyscraper Mecha, developed using advanced technology, were designed to
Yeah.
counter a military empire. A girl's entrusted with the Sky Striker, the key. That's Rey. She fights to protect her homeland.
That's it.
Da-da-da. Ordinary girl, but she's... Wow, okay. The most anime protagonist line ever. Sorry, I gotta read this out loud.
Please
Rey,
do.
at first glance, seems to be a perfectly ordinary girl, comma, but thanks to a combination of God-given talent and special training, comma, she can unleash the power of the Sky Striker. In addition, she can
Not a
equip
normal
and
girl.
control Sky Striker mecha, and by dispatching through special gates, she can access various Sky Striker Ace modules depending on the situation, which can use a mysterious Sky Striker maneuver. Apparently we use portal technology.
Honestly,
Speaking of gates, where's my dimension gates for the dimension dragons? Give us fusion gate, synchro gate, pendulum gate. Fuck it.
that'd be cool. But honestly, I feel like the tendency to reward to being like, she used to have a mundane life until she, I guess, refined her God-given talent and having a bunch of special use of special training.
Yeah, it's,
Nobody cared about who she was until she got in the robot.
yeah.
Pretty much.
What they just say about
That's not
Zeke
worded
is
well.
that the line is literally like, while fighting the Spectra Union, Rey is astonished to see a girl like her who jumps in a giant robot, and that's Zeke. So I'm gonna assume Zeke is supposed to be after the other, like, Sky Striker mecha, because like I said, it's Z, but it's Z0.
Yeah, it's also 000, so there is. Wait
Well,
a
they all
second.
have 3-digit codes.
Yeah, but we haven't seen one that was just 000.
True, yes. So I think that the Zeke is the Spectra Union's, like, prototype.
Could this be a reference? Because the 3 zeros is the fucking hotline or number you dial, which is the Australian 911 essentially. So it's like, help, we need the police.
I don't think so, because it's
It's our
Japanese, but
emergency
good,
services number.
No.
Good joke. Also, that's much
obviously
smarter than
no.
911.
Yeah.
You gotta move then. You gotta schmove to type that in. Just being
or
zero zero
just
zero.
111.
But so
Nah,
Zeke
it's gonna
came
remind
out.
you about it. Never mind. That was a
Zeke
bad
came
joke.
out later
Please ignore me.
in like 2020 in Dual Overload. This is their first Link 2. It's got forward and back facing arrows. It is a dark machine Link 2. It is just any 2 monsters, including a Sky Striker Ace monster, so you can use a variety of them. Must be Link summoned, so yeah, all your Link 2s can't be tagged out with Rey, so that's good to note. I was pretty sure that was correct, but we had to make sure. You can only summon Zeke once per turn. If this card is Link summoned, target a face-up monster on the field, banish it into your opponent's next end phase. Once per turn, target another monster you control. This card gains 1,000 attack. Send the targeted card to the graveyard. So yeah, we brought this up earlier. Zeke is a form of spot removal, but it's only temporary. That said, Zeke is definitely a card that I feel like is designed to help Sky Striker push for game because it has an attack increase effect. That said, honestly, with cards like Azalea and Camellia now, Zeke works better as just a spot removal and giving you an extra name. Because it's very funny to cycle some guys out of there. And that is the actual Sky Striker Aces. Because our upcoming friends are not Ace monsters. This, by the way, is probably also why they suck. Because they only count as Sky Striker cards, not as Sky Striker Aces, which means you can't use them as Link material. I know, it's pretty dumb. First, Aileron. Aileron.
Androgynous child from the same military academy.
Yeah. Aileron is Rey's robot buddy.
Her supporter.
Oh my god. Yeah, we have Alphon at home.
So I guess she's like the Hado.
That or it's like her, if you like Reverend Scoutgaigar, it's her fucking Makoto. With,
Yeah. But Aileron's
Yeah, I
her
made my
robot buddy.
reference. I made my reference. It was Alphon at home.
Yeah. So Aileron's her robot buddy, as evidenced by the fact that it is indeed still a machine. I don't really have anything to say here. It's got the cleaner lines, so you can tell it's more of the manga-inspired art. This is the most, like, gender nonconformist wardrobe ever. Long sleeves, but short shorts.
Look at those. We put these tubes or whatever on the ears so you can tell it's a robot. But also, we gave it the most bowl cut into spiky hair you've seen.
Yeah. Business up front, party in the back. Almost has no nose. There's just very little shading. Huge fucking eyes. And, you know, arms wide to let you know I once caught a robot this big.
And it's got the Sims plug bomb just embedded into its forehead.
So Aileron is a wind machine level 1, 0 attack, 0 defense. This card is always treated as a Sky Striker card. A Sky Striker Ace monster equipped with this card gains 400 attack. You can only use one of the following effects of Aileron per turn, only once that turn. During your main phase, quick effect, target a Sky Striker Ace, equip this card from your hand or field to it. If this card on the field is destroyed, send a Sky Striker spell from your deck to your graveyard. So, I get what they're going for, and honestly, I could see Aileron making its way into some Sky Striker decks, but one, you can't use it as Link material, And 2, honestly, you don't need that attack modulation effect. Just put 4 more spells in graveyard and make Kagura or Shizuku.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
I definitely think the newer like Link 2 Aces are better at this, but you know, for like a weird, they printed it as a weird, you know, a weird promo, and then it got tucked into Magnificent Mavens, which was based on the Selection 5 they did, which was like the special box about those a couple of archetypes, including Sky Striker. Like they did a lot of like little tchotchkes and promos, like acrylic stands and stuff. So like, as a cute little side card, it's neat. Not super great.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, if it was missing some, like, options and you wanted to do basically attack damage Sky Strikers, yeah.
All right. So, next up is Sage of Benevolence Celia. Technically in Japanese, Sage of Love Celia. So there are 3 of these sages. I believe they are supposed to be like AI who are like controlling the country of Karma. You can see the logo in the back. So all of them have names that mean sky. So Celia is like Celio, Spanish for sky, etc., etc. Also, I'm not going to pull up the art, but... Oh, actually, is Master Duel... Oh, okay, no. This is technically the censored art, but it's hard to tell.
What did they censor?
The lines of her cleavage plunged a little deeper. They didn't actually like pull her top up at all. They just, you know, reduced the line shading, so it looks a little less. You can't really tell. But yeah, so if she's supposed to be like a weird, you know, boss AI in charge of this country, sure. She has a broom.
I am in charge of the cleaning robots.
There is some.
She got control of the gunk droids.
She is dressed kind of like a maid. Apparently, in the manga, she has a line about liking her own look, so I guess she chose this avatar for herself.
Or she's like
We don't kink shame.
a witch. I've got like a witch sense too.
No, Filthy Casual said in the chat she's supposed to be like taking care of Rey, so that's probably why she has kind of like a maid or den mother.
Is it just Rey in like a simulator or something for most of this?
No.
I would have said she gives off the
does.
Dawn Mother vibes.
No, everybody is real except these guys who are machines.
Okay.
Actually, they're physical too, because Celia gets captured in the manga, which explains her effect when we get there. But like, all the like virtual stuff you see is presumably either inside of the portals or like some kind of hologram projection area, a holodeck. The background of this is pretty cool. It's kind of interesting to see this pose, but there's not a lot of detail in it. It's just like the glowing logo. Her outfit's not bad, you know.
I like the legs, but that's because I'm a sucker for that.
It's kind of, I think it's got interesting elements where like she's wearing, like I said, like a stereotypical French-made dress, but she's got like the uniform coat of the Karma military, you know, above it. It's interesting. Her hat's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And she's got like a very anime, like you can't see a lot of it, but a very anime face design where she's got like the big eyebrows. And she's got like bright red eyes.
Yeah, she got the giant circle eyebrows.
But she's also wearing glasses. Yes, Mr. Zed, you have missed most of the Sky Striker aces. That said, we still have a lot to talk about. There's a lot of spell cards in the Sky Striker.
Oh,
most
we're
of the
going on
deck.
the spell cards.
Yeah, that's where most of the action is. And actually, like, genuinely, most of the Sky Striker spell cards actually, like, show shit happening. Anyway, Celia is a water machine, level 6, 2200 attack, 1000 defense. This card is always treated as a Sky Striker card. You can discard one spell, special summon this card, from your hand. You can banish a spell from your graveyard, give control of this card to your opponent. If you do, special summon a Sky Striker ace monster from your graveyard. If this card is destroyed by battle card effect and is sent to the graveyard, target one of your banished Sky Striker spells, add it to your hand. You can use each effect of Celia once per turn. So, I see what they're trying to go for. Celia has a decent body size. She's got, you know... like discarding a spell card to special summon a level 6 is generally probably good in Sky Striker. And she does actually have an ability to, like, you banish a spell to get her out of your main monster zones and summon back an ace. Like if you've been to Ray or something, or you want to summon back one of your Link monsters. I think the primary problem is just because this card isn't a Sky Striker ace, if you don't have spell, like, if you're starting on turn 1, right, you can discard one spell card to summon her, and then you have to banish that spell card to activate her effect, but you need a Sky Striker ace from your graveyard to special summon it. So, there's a lot of really weird shit here that doesn't work because, remember, or don't remember, let me tell you ahead of time because we haven't gotten to a lot of the spell cards yet. Most Sky Striker spell cards only work if you have no monsters in your main monster zones. So, you have to be very careful about how you play Celia, and thus it's very easy for her to be a brick.
Yes.
Because of Konami's own decision to say this card only counts as a Sky Striker card, not a Sky Striker ace card, which means most of your Link monsters can't be summoned. She's not even a light or a dark, so you can't, like, summon Azalea off her. Since they're going to add Camellia in the TCG, who only requires effect monsters, that's better. So that makes Celia possibly like an angle shoot. And as Zed brought up in chat, because you give control away, Celia can be a card. But remember, I'm pretty sure... Oh, actually, hold on. This is a conditional. I'm not a judge, so I don't know for sure. But it's banish a spell card, give control if you do special summon. I don't know if you can do that if you can't special summon from your graveyard. Because that's a mandatory condition after you discard to your opponent, is you special summon a Sky Striker ace from your graveyard. So, like, I don't know if you can do it on 0, but there's some, like, tech in here, but it's just very awkward, and I could totally see this being a brick in the wrong hands. All right. Our next one is... Okay, good. They update all these cards to be in Master Duel. Ooh, this is a fucking anime-ass character design.
Oh no, I can't wait.
Not like a complex way, just like this is such a, like, paint by numbers basic anime character design.
Oh my
This
God.
is Sage of Strength Akash, or Sage of War Akasu in Japanese.
He's got... It's got, like, that mask-like face.
Yeah. Got, like, the 3 dots, got the little eye doodlies. It's interesting to see this character with, like, the ombre hairstyle of, like, silver to red, because this is, you know, one of the... You can see the Karma logo on their back, so this is, like, not the same as, like, how the other, like, enemy Sky Strikers look. Got a staff for some reason. And then just
She's the warlike.
normally dressed, yes.
Reminds me of that one rock dog Pokemon that transforms.
Lycanroc? Sure.
Yeah, the midnight form with the hair.
So, you can tell how good this card is because... Sorry, I'm yawning. Because Master Duel marked Akash as a normal rarity. A common. So, Akash is a Fire Machine level 5, 2400 attack, 200 defense, always treated as a Sky Striker. You can discard a spell card to special summon this card. If a Link monster you control be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish a spell card from your graveyard instead. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, target one of your banished Sky Striker spells, add it to your hand. So, I believe Celia also Celia also exists to get your banished spells back. That is an effect that Sky Striker could use. They don't have a lot of banish recovery. But yeah, this is just a weird card that's like, why would I play this when I could play my spell cards that let me do stuff when I control the monsters in my main zone? Again,
I forget. Does rekindling require you to be pyro type or fire attribute?
I think it's just fire attribute.
So technically this is a rekindling target, but honestly, why would you?
Kindling is... It's loading. As many fire monsters with 200 defense as possible. Yeah, you wouldn't bother. I mean, Rekindling is a spell card, so that's funny, but yeah, you just wouldn't do that. You would run spell cards that do things. So, Akash is, I think, another, like, risky brick. A little bit better than Celia because of the 2400, right? Like, that's a pretty high attack. You may actually want to consider this for clearing certain enemies, but in general, there's other things you can do to, like, give yourself protection and banish recovery. I don't, again, do not foresee why you would want to be playing Akash. In case you're curious, by the way, it's based on the phrase Akash, which means sky in several Indo-Aryan languages. All right. And then
Oh boy, I might end up taking a nap after this.
Are the Sky Strikers sucking your life out?
Well, because as I said, I didn't sleep, so just like going through it, I'm like, don't stay awake, stay awake me. What the fuck is this?
Sage of Wisdom, Himmer.
It's him.
Yes, Himmel. Himmel means sky in many Germanic languages. And, it's a Dr. Light-looking motherfucker.
I don't trust this guy.
It's okay, I think he dies. But yeah,
Trust
no.
him even less.
He's a weird... He's, you know... If these guys are all, like, AI robotmen, sure, he's that. I don't really have anything else to say. I just, Dr. Light-looking ass.
I've got purple circles on my forehead.
So this is an Earth Machine, level 5, 500 attack, 2500 defense. You can discard a spell card to special summon this card from your hand. Also, it always counts as a Sky Striker card. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a Link monster you control, quick effect, banish 2 spells from your graveyard, negate that effect. If this card is destroyed by bounce into the graveyard, target one of your banished Sky Striker spells, add it back. You can only use each effect of Himmel once per turn. So you notice a theme here. Like, all of them have the same special summon condition. All of them, when they're destroyed or otherwise sent, when they're destroyed and sent to the graveyard, they let you recycle a banished spell card. Himmel and Akash have, like, protection effects. But unlike Celia, they have no way to get themselves off your board. And this guy's not even good for attacking. Like, I could argue for Celia in certain combos, and I could argue for Akash for the attack value. Himmel just sucks. There are better cards to play to generically protect your Link monsters than this guy. Like, he's just not good. And you have to banish 2 spell cards to do that. And you can only get 1 back. Like, that's just...
Oh no, we won't throw the old man into the cute girl archetype that does mecha things. Shame.
Anyway, are you ready for it to suddenly get very, like, Metal Gear Rising? This is Surgical Striker Hemp! AKA H-A-M-P. This card's name in Japanese is Senjutsu Heiki Hanpu. So it is Hamp, by the way.
Here you go, Mega. This is what I think of.
Hampter. I mean, it is called Hanpu.
Wait, with the name of Hamp, how could you not?
Well, so fun fact.
Hand action.
Hamp was one of the reporting names of the Zero. Its name means Flash Tactical Weapon. It's a homophone of actually calling it a tactical weapon with the homophone sen, so it can be related to Sky Strikers. Hence why it's called Surgical Striker Hanpu. But yeah, no. This guy, his name is a little silly, but this guy looks like a fucking Metal Gear Rising mech. This would also work as an enemy orbital frame. Like,
the arm comes swinging down, you chop it like Metal Gear Raid.
Yeah. Rules of Kerba. But no, actually, honestly, I as a moderately experienced mecha aficionado, I like this design. It's got a pinchable waist, but, you know, that's a very, like, a hallmark of, like, Gundam-style designs and stuff like that.
Makes
so
me think of an armored core
it works.
design.
Very aggressive head, big shoulders.
I'm in the middle. It could be worse, but it could be better.
Sorry, I'm trying not to yawn very loudly. I don't want to send Loth over the edge. Into the bed.
I'm just gonna
The bed
fucking
edge.
fall asleep.
Yeah. So, it's a big, you know, it's a big boy. He's a big guy for you.
Damn it! You beat me to it.
Yeah. So,
I feel my toes around you.
Hamp is a Dark Machine level 8.
Hamper.
It's his name, buddy. Hamp. H-A-M-P. It's a Dark Machine level 8. It's got 25-25. It always treated as a Sky Striker card, but is not an ace. If you control a Sky Striker ace monster, you can special summon this card from your hand to either field by tributing one monster on that field. So it is a in-archetype kaiju.
Oh no.
You can only special summon Hamp once per turn this way. When this card is destroyed by battle, target a card your opponent controls, destroy it. So, by the way, if you give it to your opponent and run it over, do be careful. I do believe that that works against you.
Yeah, I was about to say who gets the pulp.
Because it's when it's destroyed by battle, it does that, not when it's sent to graveyard. That said, you can just effect destroy it if you want to use it as a kaiju. Because this is a Sky Striker card, it is searchable, which means that yes, you do see it played as like a kaiju option in some decks. You can also summon it to your own field to just have a big fucking guy. It's not like a 3-of, but this is actually like I think one of the first support cards they did, and this card was not like super originally from the manga yet. This was like the special promo they did for the secret shiny box and stuff that I mentioned earlier. So he just be doing stuff. All right, now we're gonna talk about spell cards. I'll try and speed this up a little.
I just show them all. I'll probably just show most of many at the same time, unless that's awkward to do.
It's awkward to do.
There's a lot of spell cards.
Fair enough.
So their field spell is Sky Striker Airspace Area 0. This is literally a loading screen from Ace Combat.
Yep, it looks like one.
For sure.
Its name is pretty direct. It's literally translated as Flash Sword Airspace Area 0. So pretty, you know, normal shit going on.
The item we found, Cortana, I'm gonna land the autumn on it. That's what gives me the vibes of as well.
So, this field spell is pretty simple. It's also pretty good for the archetype. Basically, also, if you're wondering what it's showing, basically, S130 is the name of their sky base we'll be talking about in a second. So, we are launching Kagari from the sky base to attack Area 0 in between these enemy patrols.
And she's in the X003.
Yeah,
I
which
can't
is the
remember which one
Kagari
it
armor.
is. Sorry, I just had a thought because I just said that out loud, that quote. Fucking Captain Key's ship is being attacked and everything, still got time to smoke on his pipe.
Listen, Captain Key's smoked on that pipe in every battle. He's been in some nail
He died
biters.
with- He's fucking in the 343 Guilty Spark level with the pipe.
So, Area 0 says you can target one other card you control, excavate the top 3 cards of your deck. If you do, add one excavated Sky Striker card to your hand, shuffle the rest back into the deck. If you excavated a Sky Striker card, send the targeted card to the graveyard. If this card in the field zone is sent to the graveyard card effect, special summon a Sky Striker Ace from your deck. You can only use each effective 0 once per turn. So yeah, 0 lets you just send one of your own cards that you control, which can include getting rid of cards in your main monster zone, if you need to dig 3 deeper to basically pot of duality yourself, and then shuffle it all back. Draw cards, send cards, and if it's popped by a card effect or sent by a card effect, not necessarily an opponent's card effect, you get to summon a Sky Striker Ace from your deck. So, yeah, 0 is very important. It does a lot of things.
No disadvantage.
Yeah, no, you just you're always going +0, which is a real problem with this deck. Almost every play a Sky Striker deck makes should be at least null in card advantage.
Yeah, trying to find a crack in this deck is very difficult.
Speaking, by the way, of the Sky base, here it is. This is the Sky Striker Mech Armory Hercules base. Like Mecha, but with armory in it.
It's to be like a Hercules beetle.
Probably. This is Japan. As you can see clearly, this one is marked S103. Also, while it looks like a Hercules beetle, it's probably a reference to the, because everything is named after planes, Lockheed's C-130 Hercules, which is the basis for the AC-130 gunships, and just in general, a big fucking airlift plane. If you've ever seen like an army plane in like a movie or a game, it's probably a C-130.
Is that just an open air bridge, or am I just seeing things?
No, that space is definitely open. I assume that's where, I don't know if it's the bridge. And like it might have a giant window we can't see, but
Oh yeah, like a giant window, but like
I
is that
assume this
just the
has some
bridge
kind of
itself?
launching, but yeah, it probably is just the bridge.
Yeah, that's weird looking.
So this card, interestingly enough, this is an equip spell card, which is a little weird for the card art, given what it is. But yeah, this is an equip card. You can only activate this card if you control no monsters in your main monster zone. The equipped monster cannot attack directly, but it can make a second attack on monsters during each battle phase. If the equipped monster destroys monster by its attack, while you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, draw 1 card. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard by card effect, target up to 3 Sky Striker cards in your graveyard, except Hercules base, shuffle them into the deck. So yeah, Hercules base is really awkward to play. Usually you play it with Area 0, so that you can Area 0, send Hercules base. You know, but occasionally, you can actually put it on like a big Kagari and draw like, 2 cards every battle phase. It's just like I said, it's just more advantage. Dig deeper, baby. All right, so now we're going to start talking about the special maneuvers. And you're going to start to see even more patterns in how Sky Striker decks work. First, Sky Striker maneuver Afterburners. You have to say it that way because it's got an exclamation point.
Oh, so that's what it looks like up close. I always wondered what the fuck it was.
Yeah, it's very hard to tell what Afterburners looks like in real life because I think it's been printed like only as a foil. Yeah, it was a secret rare in Dark Saviors and Ultra in Heroes Revenge. So like, this card is in secret rare. Its original printing. This card is fucking illegible. It's just a red blur. But yeah, so as Kagari, Ray is activating Afterburners to do a fucking suicide dive type attack. Maximum speed. Hit the danger zone. So, if you control no monsters in your main monster zone, target a face-up monster, destroy it. If you have 3 more spells, destroy a spell trap. So, yeah, you can see the trend here. You have to have no monsters in your main monster zone. You have 1 effect. Then you have a second effect if you have 3 more spells. Also, by the way, Sky Striker maneuvers are called Sentojutsu. So, Flash Sword Skill in Japanese. So, Afterburners, very normal. A card you will see a lot because it's very often 2 pops. Next.
Sorry, I'm fighting here.
It's okay. I'm gonna speed run these. And if you have to go, you can go ahead and take your power nap already.
Yeah, and then you know what? Yeah, I might take my nap, and then hopefully I'll be around for when you're doing 14.
Well, I'm gonna be.
Because I'm gonna be honest here. I probably got nothing to add to Sky Strikers.
That's fair. Also, you joke.
Have fun, everyone.
You say that though, but I will be playing 14 when we're done with the stream.
Yeah, I said hopefully when I get up, you'll be still playing 14. That's what I said.
Yeah, it's only 10 p.m. probably. Anyway, good night, Loth. Everybody say good night to Loth. And I will continue to power through these. This is Sky Striker maneuver Jamming Waves. Also has an exclamation point. You can see Shizuku jamming some waves here. I'm not really sure who's supposed to be doing this attack, but Axe, you will remember you brought up the Nanaha Fate comparison earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's supposed to be Rose on the other end of these, but like these bright yellow thunderbolts is very Fate. Fate Testarossa.
Gotcha. I mostly just bring up just from like a lot of thematics.
Well, yeah, but I'm just thinking the
Yeah.
some of the aesthetic coloring is very much in the zone. Jamming Waves is just the inverse of Afterburners. If you control no monsters, you can target a set spell trap, destroy it. If you have 3 or more spells, you can destroy a monster. It's interesting to note that technically their bonus effect is better than the opposite, right? So Jamming Waves can only target set spell traps, whereas Afterburners can target any spell trap, but it only works if you have 3. Similarly, Afterburners only works on face-up monsters, but Jamming Waves works on any monster. So, also, there's just... The maneuvers are tied to the suits, so there's one for each. Here's an important one, because this one is Sky Striker maneuver Scissor Cross. So, in this art, you can see Rose in a pilot suit, but not in her mecha yet, fighting Rei in the Kagari suit, who looks like she is just about to punch Rose in the face and not just use her robot claws. Though apparently, oh god, I forgot what the fuck the guys are called. It's SU something. Seraphic, Slarbo, Screeble, Spectra Union. They don't have good branding, is what I'll say. You'll notice their weird little belt things are apparently have utility.
I mean, it's probably like the connection nodes.
So, Scissor Cross is another normal spell. If you control the monster in your monster zone, target a level 4 Sky Striker Ace monster in your graveyard. Add it to your hand. If you have 3 or more spells, you can special summon it instead. Scissors Cross is not super popular. Generally, I usually see most people play their one-of Monster Reborn if they have any Reborn moves. But it has, purpose. It has reason to exist. To get your level 4s back. A bit late on the Good Night Loft, but, I'm sure he appreciates it.
Honestly, I'm getting the impression this is Rose, and I assume this is her fight, and then she chops into Zeke, and then basically she beats her to the point that they become friends.
Something like that.
Apropos.
Okay, and then next we have Sky Striker maneuver Vector Blast, which is Hayate uses her big gun, which apparently requires all of her Greebles to do.
If anything, it looks like she's more just. No, yeah, I guess it's just taking all of her back bits to add.
Yeah,
to
all the parts add together to make a really big gun. Hopefully, she's shooting somebody with it. Maybe
Probably
this is what
Zeke.
blew up Zeke. Yeah.
Yeah, probably Zeke.
By the way, I'm just if people in chat know Nanaha, I'm just thinking of the one scene from the 3rd series where the enemy mastermind is behind, is doing the good luck. I'm behind 3,000 walls, and Nanaha's just like, bet.
You know
Maximum power
of
laser.
Of the movie duology, please.
Yeah, I've heard of them, but I never watched the compilation.
Basically, it's just it's Fate. It's Fate Nanaha and Hayate, and basically having to deal with alternative, basically negative clones of them from I think a pocket dimension or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of pocket dimensions. But yeah, no, in the third series, there's some meta plot fuckery, which I'm gonna be honest, I was not really good at the actual plots of the Nanaha series. Sometimes they were vague and kind of just happened. But yeah, no, this is the Starlight Breaker type attack where you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna shoot a really big beam right now. But that shot from the 3rd original series is very apropos because it's got the ultimate villain lady is camped up in her base behind shitloads of walls, and she's making Nanaha fight her grown-up adopted clone daughter thing. Yes, the Nanaha series is very weird. But then after immobilizing her, Nana's just like, all right, I did an area search. Where's the bad guy? Oh, down there. And the villain's just like, no, she can't. She can't possibly be trying to shoot me. Oh, shit, she's going to shoot me. Basically does her own version of the, like, Cell, oh, shit, face when he gets hit with the final flash. Internet, you've probably seen the GIF. Anyway, unfortunately, Vector Blast isn't that cool. It's actually kind of bad. This is a normal spell that says you control known monsters. Each player sends the top 2 cards of their graveyard, or as many as possible with less than 2. If you send at least 1 card to the graveyard and have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, shuffle all your opponent's monsters in the EMZ back into the deck. So, this card should be good. It is not. Because it requires your opponent to have a card in the EMZ, you to have no monsters in your main monster zones, and to have 3 spell cards in your grave when you excavate 2. It's cute, but there's a lot better ways for you to do this. I assume at some point somebody tried, like, Sky Striker Runic, and that probably, like, works better in there, because that just adds to your, you know, mill and grind. But, yeah, Vector Blast is not very popular. And now,
Also, yes, the movies were based off the PSP games. Yes, I know.
well, you didn't say so. You guys are gonna fucking out-nerd everybody here.
I don't feel like it's something. I sometimes don't feel like it's worth mentioning randomly.
Well, you are right in that hypothetically acknowledging that some, you know, the movie plots that I'm not aware of, I could probably catch those. I'm not gonna dig up a PSP game. That's not gonna work.
The movies are okay. They're not great, but like they're not bad.
All right, so we're moving on to the. Oh, let's still say the off center. With my
We're
text.
just after blowing up Zeke and. Is that a 0?
So this is we're gonna talk about the mecha. So these are now the Sky Striker mecha cards. They are just called Sentoki, Sky Striker Machine or Sky Striker Mecha. This is Iga Boosta. Igaru Boosta. So, fun fact, all of the, again, despite the slightly weirdly nationalist overtones of the Sky Striker plot, all the Sky Striker mecha cards are named after the nicknames or model names of American aircraft. So this is named Eagle, which is, you know, akin to the F-15 Eagle. And you'll notice the mecha are separate from the actual, like, Sky Striker suits. So this is the Eagle booster is just her jetpack. And I assume also some kind of missile pack, because there's a lot of missiles going on here. You're doing Macross proud, baby. Eagle Booster is a quick play spell card. I believe most of the mecha are quick plays. If you control the monsters in your main monster zone, target a face-up monster. It's unaffected by effect except its own, and if you have 3 more spells, it can't be destroyed by battle. I'm pretty sure at some point you would play some Eagle Boosters. It's a decent effect to do like you see in this card art and basically dodge some shit. But it doesn't really advance your game state very well. You want to talk about cards that advance your game state, though. It's time for a card that's still limited everywhere. There are a couple of Sky Striker cards that are still on the list. And I think this may have been banned at one point. This is Sky Striker Mecha Hornet Drones, named after F-18 Hornet. So these are the drones that project the tokens. It's interesting that, like, they have this, like, almost like missile-like look to them, but as far as we know, the other thing they do is project holograms, so I guess they're like decoy drones.
They're like chafe drones, like shaft drones.
Yeah, they're a defensive measure. Chat, the reason why this card is limited is because this is a quick play spell card that says if you control no monsters in the MMZ, special summon a Sky Striker Ace token, which is a level 1 Dark Warrior with 0 attack, 0 defense, in defense position. Yeah, that cannot be tributed, which means it is immune to Kaijuing. If you have 3 or more spell cards in your graveyard, when this effect resolves, the token is 15/15 instead. So yeah, this is just a free token, which is great for all manner of link climbing shit. Because it does not require you to run Sky Strikers, if this card was at 3, you would see it crammed into every deck that wants to link climb. Because it's just a free token that you can link climb, because it's just no monsters in the MMZ. Interestingly, so the token doesn't have any effects, so you can't use it for Camellia, but you can use it for Azalea because it is Dark type. Keep that in mind. And now one of the ones everybody fucking loves. I'm lying, by the way. This is one of our annoying ones. But it's Sky Striker Mecha Shark Cannon. Named after the F-20 Tiger Shark. It's a gun. I guess it's vaguely fish-shaped. I gotta say, I know that there are a lot of series that use this kind of like, double or quad-barreled, like, you hold up this giant thing, center a mass. I've never been a huge fan of those kinds of guns, so I'm not a big fan of this art. But it is a mecha trope to whip out the double gun and double gun them. There's a quick play spell card that says you control no monsters in your MMZ, target a monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish it. If you have 3 or more spell cards, you can special summon that monster to your field instead, but it cannot attack. Fucking hate Shark Cannon. Why did you give this archetype an in-archetype DD Crow? I can't believe you've done this. But people in chat will probably recognize our next card more and be more annoyed by it. Because what comes after S, chat, but W? Sky Striker Mecha Widow Anchor. Named after the P-61 Black Widow. Probably. I don't think there are a lot of Widow aircraft. So this is a nice action shot. You can see she's wearing like the grappler on her wrist, and it's like, I like that this, like, there's a center grapple and it has some extra grapples. It's grapples all the way down.
I just like it. It's fucking 61. Damn.
Yeah. Oh, they have a lot of devices. But yeah. Oh, and that's probably why we know it's based off the Black Widow, because that was the P-61 aircraft. I wasn't even paying attention. Yeah, so there's lots of these things that let you know. Yeah, so, again, most of you are probably familiar with what Widow Anchor does, but in case you aren't, to recap, if you have no monsters in the MMZ, target a face-up effect monster on the field, negate its effects until the end of this turn. Then, if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you can take control of that monster until the end phase. So, this is just like, oh, shit, which one negates? Chalice? Yeah, Chalice negates, right? Forbidden Chalice? This is just a Forbidden Chalice, and then also it's a fucking Change of Heart if you've got your engine going. That's true, Mr. Dennis Cordell. You should probably double check that you're when you hear this that you're caught up, because that's a comment from like 5 minutes ago. Make sure you're not lagging. But yes, you are correct. It makes a token. That's why Hornet Drones is on the Forbidden Limited list. But yeah, no. Widow Anchor fucking sucks. Like, okay, the effect negation, I can understand that, right? That's useful. Spot negation can be good. And there's not really a great way to do that with your monsters. The fact that it just fucking steals, like I said, it's a Change of Heart on top of being a negate, is just so frustrating to deal with, because that means that your opponent can, like, do link climbing, and do all this other shit. No, I wouldn't say it's a Snatch Steal, because remember, it's only until the end phase. It's definitely Change of Heart. Which, Change of Heart is legal at 1 copy. Not that you need to, you just run through Widow Anchor in the Sky Striker deck. But yeah, this one's just a mean one. It's just so annoying because it's just... Ooh, it's spicy. There are a couple ways around it, but it's just... When Sky Striker gets its engine going, they have such good, like, removal tools, between... like, Afterburner and Jamming Waves are both a double pop. They can, DD Crow you. They can steal your monsters. It's mean. It's brutal. All right. So, now we're going to talk about another one of their power cards. I know this one definitely saw some time on the FL list. This is Sky Striker Mecha Modules Multi-Roll. In Japanese, this was Sento Kikan Flash Sword Engine Machiroru. So this is referencing aircraft types. Multi-roll aircraft are good at both air-to-air and air-to-ground usually. Have multiple rolls. This is a continuous spell card. The card art is... I believe this is supposed to be showing, like, the gates they talked about opening. So this is Rey teleporting one of the suits to her. So, yeah, no, they just fucking open hexagrams in the sky and teleport shit to you. But, yeah, this is a continuous spell card that says, once per turn, target another card you control. Send that card to the graveyard. Also, your opponent can activate cards or effects in response to your spell card activations for the rest of this turn, even if this card leaves the field. This, by the way, is why I can't believe this card is actually unlimited now. Konami should have been forced to rewrite a new multi-roll that didn't include this text, but this shit fucking sucks. This is a lingering floodgate type effect. You can only gain a previous effect once per turn. So just send any other card you control. Your opponent can't activate cards or effects in response to your spell cards. Once per turn during the end phase, you can set Sky Striker spells as different names for your graveyard up to the number of Sky Striker spell cards you've activated when this card is face up, but banish them when they leave the field. So multi-roll also resets all your spells. This card is mean as hell, and there is, like I said, there's a reason why it was on the FL list. Also, remember that sending effect triggers your field spell. It triggers your equip spell. I believe it triggers several of your monster effects. This is just, again, Sky Striker is a deck that is all about plusing. Every move you do is actually a +0 minimum. But we are going alphabetical, so it's time to talk about the mobilizes, which are translated as Flash Sword Startup. Sentokido. This is our titular card. There's not a lot to talk about in the card art. This is Engage, so this is clearly, Rey firing up one of the teleporter gates to get some shit teleported to her. In the OCG and TCG, this card is semi-limited. It's limited 2. It should probably be limit 1, but I understand why the argument for 2 is. But this is why we make jokes about Engag to 3. And it does have an alt art. Let me see if I can find a clean look of it. It doesn't look like I can, so...
I just noticed. She's holding Rey's sword.
Yeah, it's Rey. Or are you talking about the alt art that I haven't posted yet?
No, the one here, it's holding Rey's sword. Because technically
it's Rey.
Or... She's holding Rose's sword.
Nope.
Okay, I thought...
No, because here's the comparison. The alternate art is Rose setting out for battle with Rose's sword. Rose's sword looks more like an officer's saber, remember? It's got a crossguard and stuff.
Oh, right, and there's Zeke's cockpit, or like Zeke's port, yeah.
Yeah, so, this is, the two of them, kind of showcasing their different, aspects. Rose clearly looks a lot less happy in her job. But yeah, what Engage does, it's just Pot of Greed. But to explain why it's just Pot of Greed, Engage says if you control no monsters in your MMZ, add any Sky Striker card from your deck to your hand except Engage. Then, if you have 3 more spells in your graveyard, you can draw 1 card. So it is always a +1 if you're doing it correctly. I shouldn't say it's literally always a +1 because there are going to be times where you're going to draw a Sky Striker hand going first, and you're going to draw well, shit, I've drawn all Afterburner, Jamming Waves, Widow Anchor, Shark Cannon type shit. None of that works right now. I need a Rey. But This card very often has you drawing 2. Notice, by the way, there's no once per turn on this. It's not a soft once per turn, it's not a hard once per turn. There's no kind of once per turn, which means that you can use Kagari to activate Engage, to add a card, to start getting cards to put in your graveyard, and then you summon Kagari, add back Engage, do it a fucking again, and draw 2 more, and add 2 more cards. So yeah, it's fucking a brutal card. I am very shocked that I'm not shocked that they unbanned it, I guess, because in general Sky Striker cards got less useful, but I am kind of surprised it's limit 2 right now, and quite possibly will be going to limit 3. But then we got our new card. This is one of the other promo cards for the selection set. This was, like I said, this was in the Secret Shiny box in Magnificent Mavens. This was the title cover card. This is Sky Striker Mobilize Linkage. So in this card art, you can see, probably the more important part. I'm going to assume from the black and red beams that Ray is either fighting the Hamp or is otherwise fighting the Spectra Union base. But she is rescuing Rose. You can see Rose's sword on the ground. I think this is like on the ruins of Zeke.
It literally does remind me of literally Nanoha, where it's like Fate Nanoha literally does that to save Fate from her abusive brother.
Yeah, no, this is probably again a reference. You can see that Ray's been through some shit. One, she's got one of her scary eyes from Kagari, but also like her tie is beat up. You can see like tears in her uniform jacket.
She's probably, if anything, she's probably switching into Kagari right now.
Yeah, this might be her switching to Kagari, or this might be her switching to Shizuku for Shizuku's alt art. Because she's, because the Shizuku alt art, remember, she's also holding Rose and covering.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
So, anyway, dramatic stuff is happening. Linkage is a quick play spell card that says if you control the monsters in your MMZ, you cannot... First of all, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except Sky Striker Ace monsters. Thank you, Konami. Also, send one other card you control to the graveyard. If you do, special summon a Sky Striker Ace monster from your extra deck to the EMZ. And if you have at least one light and one dark Sky Striker Ace monsters on your field or in your graveyard, the special summon monster gains 1,000 attack. So, linkage is basically this dramatic scene we're talking about. This is Ray's really mad, and she's going to power up to 100%. That also, I think that 1,000 definitely says to me that she's probably fighting the Hamp right now because that was, 25-25. So, linkage works best if you have Ray and Rose in your graveyard. You get to special summon any Sky Striker Ace monster from your extra deck to your EMZ. But remember, it doesn't say it counts as a link summon, so it's going to be one of the 4 elemental ones. Zeke, Azalea, and Camellia all must be link summoned, or must first be link summoned, dependingly. But yeah, linkage is pretty spicy. A lot of people thought this was what was going to bring Sky Striker back, and it kind of does. When this card hit Master Duel, a decent number of people tried playing Sky Striker in MD. But it's because it locks you to Sky Striker Ace from your Ace monsters from your extra deck. It doesn't let the deck be as flexible and generic as it could be. It's still a pretty good tool, but I don't think it lets you run non-engine stuff. But it's still very spicy to the deck. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Zed. It keeps the deck rogue. So combined with a couple of them letting a couple of their cards out of jail, linkage means that Sky Striker is still a deck you have to watch out for. Like I said, climbing Master Duel ladders or watching out at locals and occasionally at regionals. Like I said, this got a top 4. Oh, Red Arrows is in Master Duel? Cool. Sorry, we have one last card. It's not actually a Sky Striker card by name or anything, not even the parenthetical, but it is very clearly related. So, Red Arrows is apparently the name of Rose's special attack. You can see Rose here, and she's throwing out some fucking... I mean, she clearly went Bankai, and she's throwing out some Getsuga Tenshos. To completely change which anime we're referencing, but, I mean, it's black and red, and they're crescent-shaped, so here we are. Red Arrows is a normal spell that says you can target up to 2 face-up monsters in the EMZ, banish them until the end phase. You only activate 1 Red Arrows per turn. This card probably has its uses in Sky Striker decks. Lets you clear out your own EMZ to cycle, lets you get rid of your opponent's annoying monsters in the EMZ. It doesn't have to target your monsters in the EMZ, can just target your opponents. I think it thematically works because Zeke also does a temp banish. But it's not super great. It's just, a cute card they added. And here we are, 2 hours later. Sky Striker, all of them. If you missed any intro stuff, feel free to scroll back in the VOD. That's going to stay up. There's a lot of fun stuff here. If you wanted me to comment, on the one hand, I don't really want to make Sky Striker a better deck because, like I said, running into Sky Striker when you're not prepared for it, though I guess if it was meta, you would be more prepared, but you know what I mean. Running into Sky Striker... Oh, did Fate have a Crescent attack? I don't remember it. See, it's not yellow.
This is kind of how I was the Ketsukawa, Ketsukawa's pressure wave attack looks like.
Oh yes, also no, because I'm a big fan of Bleach. Yes, this is definitely what it should be like. But yeah, no. Like I said, maybe if Sky Striker was actually good and not rogue, you'd be better prepared to counterplay it. But like I said, Sky Striker can be a really frustrating deck to run into when you're not prepared because it is such a strong consistency engine. Sky Striker wins a lot of games just because the resource loop very tight. So long as you are not actually banishing your spell cards, you are constantly getting stronger every time you activate a spell card. So it is just such a tight resource engine. When you get in simplified game states, it can absolutely grind some shit out. Trust me, I've played Sky Striker. I think it's interesting in concept. Oh, I remember the Harken Slash. Okay. See, that attack name I remember. And also Barty saying it. But, so, on the one hand, I don't want to be okay, here's what Sky Striker needs to be good again. But, if I were to assume, hopefully where they take the game design is, one, I think adding some more cute Hamp-like cards that are supposed to be the Spectra Union's, actual, whatever those, we saw on Area Zero, right? There were lots of little enemy signatures, little triangles for enemies. Who are those guys? What are they? Those should be a card. You should show them on screen so we can, make it more explicit. But also, probably they need a Sky Striker Link monster that doesn't require Sky Striker Ace monsters. That might actually make you want to play cards like Aileron and the other, Sages. Because otherwise those cards have a huge chance to be very bricky. Because your Link 2 options are limited. But, yeah, I mean, other than, it might be cool to see cards to represent, if Azalea and Camellia have special attacks, their special attack cards, Red Arrows and, all of Ray's Sky Striker maneuvers. But generally, Sky Striker is still in a really decent place. It's a deck that works. It gets a little bit of, meta hate because people are still trying to run Bestials and stuff, but, there's a lot of advantage there. And like I said, aesthetically, I think Sky Strikers are neat. I think that their concept of playstyle is interesting. It's just that, like I said, unfortunately, the way that decks that play with non-standard numbers of card ratios, when you go either oops all spell cards or go oops all monster cards, is you get to run too many danged hand traps. And especially in Master Duel, any deck that's free to play the Max C package is just so annoying. So that's where we are. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I have the Failed Portrayal poll up already. I posted it before we got in here. Because Axe didn't say anything about changing, so I assume you were good with staking the Spiral. But I will announce officially that the poll is up because it's only got 2 votes, so now Sidra and Gimmick Puppets are tied. Interesting. But I went back to Sidra. That's been something we've gone off and on, so we still haven't done that. Fire Kings, Gimmick Puppet, Spiral, Trap Trick. So you got a few options of some decks to pick from. Let me see what our next deck will be. Though I can say that, also, I think I've got a rough draft of the next list of 25 cards for Does Lucky Think Yu-Gi-Oh Cards Are Good stream. I banged that out this weekend. I took several of your suggestions from the.
Can you tell me some of them? Because I don't
thread?
think Lucky's able to stream.
Yeah, you are correct. I can definitely pick a few.
I'm just curious. What's that interesting to least? Oh, I'm curious how you think about that one.
Like, I posted the list of where I started with Patreon, and a decent number of these I pulled from, like, your suggestions. Like, somebody threw out U-Bell. I threw that one out there. Snake Rain's on this list. Spoiler, Snake Rain is a good card. It's just there's no good reptile decks.
I think that'll be the fun bit of being like, you get, Lucky won't get it where it's like, yes, your card is good, but technically it's not playable because there's never been a reptile archetype that makes it work.
See, what other stuff did I add in here?
It's a good learning lesson.
Shard of Greed made my my list.
That one's
Shard of Greed, because Shard of Greed is not super good.
It's weird how like it's only viable in stall.
Yeah, but Chicken Game's also on the list because there are a Cup of Ace made the list as well. I put some of the draw cards on there. Somebody also suggested Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth, and I'm sorry if I'm not remembering who suggested what. Your names aren't in front of me, and several of you guys suggested a lot of cards.
Any Arcana Force cards?
No, I didn't put any of those others in. Cup of Aces on here though, like I said, which is technically one. You know, and quite a few. I put for me, I put Mirror Force on the list. Just vanilla Mirror Force.
I mean, it's good. It's just not really playable nowadays. Is it weird to say that? I think it's still good. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah. Just vanilla Mirror Force isn't good enough. Mirror Force was on the FL list for a while, so it is that's another one of those like getcha cards because like historically, yes, it was good. Nowadays, it's not good. That's why they made 4 more Mirror Forces.
Like weird enough because how it's set up. I don't think even Stardust could play around it. So like in like I think in like why am I forgetting of it? The format.
Edison.
Yeah, in Edison format, I think Mirror Force is still viable.
I mean, Stardust still because it would destroy. You would negate it. You could do Starlight Road, but it's good. Yeah, only a few of the draw cards made it, but also because I didn't do it again, somebody suggested Gem Knight Garnet, and I thought that would be very funny to explain how Garnets work to Lucky. There's quite a few links on here. I did include just to let you guys know. Because there was a little bit of a push for like shittier cards. I actually looked up one of Dual Log's lists of worst Link cards. So Agave Dragon is on this list.
I think
because I deliberately wanted to find some bad.
I think I've seen it running.
It's a generic Link 4, so like you see it sometimes, but its effect is like it requires you to like use like the 4 different types that have dragon in their name. So it's like dragon, worm, dinosaur, sea serpent. No Dragon, Worm, Dinosaur, Sea Serpent deck exists, so it's not a great card.
It sounds like it would have to be like a weird dragon, a draconic.
Yeah, I think it's a pun card, but it doesn't work.
Like it has to be like draconic Link, not Dragon Link.
Yes. Also, yes, Chaos Mask made my draft, but like I said, this is still the rough draft. That thread is still open on our Patreon. Any patron level can comment on it. So if you want to comment on a few of those things.
Could you tag it so people can search for things by tag?
Oh, I think it's got the Yu-Gi-Oh tag. If it doesn't, I can't edit that. Patreon is kind of changing up the tagging system. I think they want me to use this new collections feature they have now, which is
to make playlists of posts.
Fine, yeah, basically. But it's also awkward. But if you find the Fail Portrayal post that has the Yu-Gi-Oh tag on it, yes. So that also includes the Ken Lucky Guess if Yu-Gi-Oh cards are good. So. The YGO tag on our Patreon is all of those posts. So if you want to relocate it after some audio posts, you can. All right. And yeah, like I said, the Fail Portrayal is there. Yeah, Zed, you made 2 posts, so that's why it's hard for me to remember which ones you said because you said twice. But I appreciate the effort. Like I said, I was expecting a little bit of a trickle. You guys went ham bone, so like. I will probably go back to the posts that you guys made to mine for more in the future if we come back to this. But all right, okay. I'm going to get on out of here. Like I said, I got Final Fantasy 14 grinding to do. I'm trying to get trophy crystals. Also, I'd like to get Gunbreaker to 70 before tomorrow. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Well, unfortunately, no. Dark Knight's still back at 60, so that's just not... Don't got enough time for that. Because I was grinding Gunbreaker all through our prey runs because the DPS really did help.
Oh yeah, also I did some I finally done some glams just for the sake of having 70% of one YouTube stream.
Yeah, I can on the stream, if I remember, if I don't remember, you guys can yell at me. It's fine. But if I remember on stream, I can throw out, I can just pull up the post and like say, by the way, this card was suggested by blah blah blah. If you guys are interested in that kind of thing, I'm not averse to throwing out credit. Like I said, I mind from you guys. All right. Anyway, I'm enjoying the chat interaction, but also it's time to go. So we'll be wrapping up here. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Check out a new Fail Portrayal next week. Oh, right. No, that's right. I was in the middle of checking which deck it would be. That's right. We didn't get there. So hold on one second. While you're holding on, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and all that fun stuff. Okay, so we did Fur Hire, we did Vampire, and we did Sky Striker. So it is whatever deck build pack is after. Hidden Summoners. Cool. We've done Mayakashi before. We've done Nephthys because that was a solo mode. I think that means it's going to be Prank Kids. Won't that be fun? Just talking about the Prank Kid engine.
That one's at least a self-contained thing, yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be next week. Will be Prank Kids, a deck you again have probably seen an engine tucked in there. It was pretty good for a while. So I guess that makes Prank Kids the one good deck out of Hidden Summoners. I cry, but Nephthys is not usually very highly rated. They tried, but there are better ritual decks, and unfortunately, Mayakashi has not really done a lot in terms of competitive. Though you see a few of the cards in some zombie synchro blobs. But yes, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for Final Fantasy XIV. Hopefully, we'll be doing some raids and stuff. Maybe we'll beat up Byakko if people aren't down to do alliance raids or something. And if you didn't catch it, be sure to check out Monday's stream where I put in nearly 4 hours into Castlevania Symphony of the Night with Lucky. That was a fun time. That's everything I have for you. Like I said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our Patreon to get access to that patron stuff and those polls and topics and whatever. You can also support our channel membership, as I believe it was Filthy Casual, used his special little membership bling-a-ding. That's all I got. I'll see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.